the moment the saw gunner starts triggering it, right, I literally heard my left ear, the sound was like, and then it just went super sharp, right?
Welcome to the One Day at a Time podcast, where we take things one day at a time. Today in the studio, we have Kenneth.
What's up?
All right, Ken, you want to do a quick self-introduction?
I'm Kenneth, and I'm a design lead at a design studio, and I'm also a musician, vocalist at a pop punk band called Orange Cove. Yeah, aside from that, I just love to play football as well. A huge fan of Manchester United. Yep.
Okay, nice. So today, we're gonna talk about your problems, but as with this podcast, we want to understand a little bit more about what some people are going through, in terms of their job or their health, and today, we'd love to chat with you a little bit more about this condition that you have called sleep apnea.
Yeah.
Right. So what is sleep apnea?
Wow. Sleep apnea is basically, it's kind of like a sleep disorder whereby if you, how when people actually, when they sleep throughout the night, right, you can sleep quite soundly or there's no sound. Maybe you can snore a little bit, but sleep apnea is in the case where you may eventually stop breathing halfway through the night. And by stop breathing, I can mean like up to, for mine was, in my case, was like up to 24 times in an hour. Yeah, so
it will kill you lah, basically.
I mean, the end outcome, of course, you will choke. And then if you don't wake up from it, then you just end up
dead.
Yeah.
Okay, so how did you, when did you get diagnosed with sleep apnea? And how did you realize that it's sleep apnea? Or like, how did you, like, what made you want to go and see a doctor?
So I got diagnosed with it probably about like 1.5 years ago, to 2. And then how I got to find out about it is, I mean, everyone snores, so I didn't think like it was a huge issue. So the people around me also didn't think much of an issue, but then everyone commented lah, so it was quite consistent. So people would tell me that, when we go on retreats or when we go on holidays together and stuff like that, or my partner will also tell me that when I sleep, I snore quite loudly. But then, more in-depthly, my partner will actually tell me that I will actually choke when I sleep. So with that also, then just nice, my ex-boss actually told me that that he had a friend who basically passed on from sleep apnea, and that story itself like totally freaked me out. And that friend was like quite fit. So it doesn't matter whether you're obese or anything, like the friend was fit. And yeah, like how, suddenly out of nowhere, you could just pass on like that. Then that kind of struck me to really take action. So I thought, just get it checked. And then true enough, the doctor checked, put me through a sleep test, and then, ran a scope down my nose. And then, from there, they can actually tell how many times I stopped breathing. That's why I said like, in 1 hour, I can actually stop like 24 times for breathing. And then that's where they recommended is either you go through a surgery or you actually get like a CPAP machine where it will help you pump air in the night so that there's no way your throat or whatever, the windpipe will get compressed or anything. So with that, it actually reduces that chance of choking lah. Yeah.
I see. So you choke and you stop breathing because the windpipe compresses itself so much that there's no opening lah. Is it?
Yes. So I mean the reason why we choke also because there's no oxygen passing through, right? Then it's because of the compression in that windpipe just getting stuck to each other or something like that. Or yes, perhaps in I'm not a doctor lah, but doctors can verify that. It could also be like the muscle inside and stuff like that. So with that compression, as age goes by, when you're older, you have a higher risk because then the muscle may not have that strength to open up again if it close. Right. So with that, then there's a higher chance of passing away in that kind of situation. That's why if it's better that if we find out now at this stage, then it's better to get it checked and find ways to help reduce that chance. Yeah.
So choking and like stopping breathing is the main symptom lah.
Yeah.
And it will essentially cause you to choke to death if you don't do anything about it.
Correct. So, I mean, aside from these kind of symptoms that were bigger signs, some of the normal symptoms that the day by day, but I don't want to freak anyone out because this could happen to everyone, is like on a, let's say in the day, you could feel very sleepy, or like let's say when you're driving, you can feel very sleepy, but that could be due to because you don't have enough sleep, right? But if you see like instances where you just feel sleepy, even though you have enough sleep, you have like a good 7 to 8 hours, but you still feel damn sleepy, that could be one of the criteria that they will mark as a chance that you have sleep apnea. And then, I mean, snoring is another thing. Obesity also, they will consider it also. Then, yeah, there are a few criteria.
How come? Like, is it because like these things happen because you don't get enough oxygen in your body because of the something like that?
Yeah, so that's one. And then also, because of that, then this could be little signs that could affect your heart rate and stuff like that. That's why you just get a little bit more lethargic. The oxygen doesn't get through to you and stuff like that. So, yeah lah. I mean, it's much deeper than that. The doctors can tell you better lah. But these are what I've gone through and then took that test, and then that's where I found out that all this sounds like regular stuff, but it actually occurred to me that these were symptoms that I never thought could actually result to finding out that it's sleep apnea. Yeah.
So when you got diagnosed with sleep apnea, the doctors told you that you either have to get surgery or you have to like buy this machine.
Yeah, which is a CPAP machine. So it's like CPAP machine. Yeah.
So what about this? So did you get surgery or did you buy this machine?
So I mean, the first option he told me was surgery lah. But then after he said like the best option is surgery. But then after surgery, we cannot confirm whether you will recover or not. Then I'm like, then what's the point? Then I'm like, do you have any other alternative? Then he's like, the CPAP machine. Yeah, but before that, the surgery part also, because I'm a musician, right? Then there's a risk that if they, like cut here or whatever, and then if it doesn't heal properly, then there might be a risk that I cannot sing or anything really. So I don't want to risk that also, risk that chance. Then that's why the CPAP machine was an option. But then the doctor did say, if you were to go for the CPAP machine, it's good. It's good for you as proven from all our patients before. But you have to wear it for life. Yeah.
So there is no cure for sleep apnea?
No cure, but you can kind of like put a hole on it or control it, manage it.
Yeah, but you will have sleep apnea until the day you die.
Yeah.
And it's either you die naturally or you choke yourself to death.
Yeah. Yeah, it could be that way. Yeah.
So, I mean, it must be quite tough, right? To essentially receive a diagnosis that, you will have to deal with something for the rest of your life lah. How did you, feel when the doctors told you, hey, you have this thing called sleep apnea and you're going to have it for life. You're going to bring this stupid machine around everywhere you go for life.
I mean, mixed feelings. I wasn't like devastated or anything. Yeah, it's more like I thought it's just snoring. Like I never thought I'd be like diagnosed with. I think mine was not mild sleep apnea. Mine was like the midpoint.
Okay.
Yeah, so there is severe. Okay. Mine is like the midpoint. So, I mean, the relieving part is also because I found out now. Yeah, so I'm taking things in control lah. So I'm not that devastated in that sense. Yeah. But carrying the machine around, that one, wow, damn niche, because go overseas also, if let's say we are going on a long trip, then I also have to consider bringing that around. Yeah, and it's not a small machine. Like the CPAP machine is.
How big is the machine?
Probably like a laptop screen size.
Like something like that.
Yeah.
But it's
heavy, but with it's actually quite heavy. Yeah, so
what does this machine actually do for you?
The machine actually pumps air through your windpipe. So with that consistent air flowing through, right, there's no chance that it will compress fully because it's always consistently pushing through. Yeah. Whereas, I mean, if you don't use a CPAP machine, then that's where, there's higher chance of it compressing lah. So with the air going through, I think one of the bad things is like going into sleep. Like I'm a very heavy sleeper. but when I put it on, right, and then I try to go to sleep, it's very uncomfortable. Like I literally sleep like a log one. I can sleep anywhere. Like you put me there, you give me 20 minutes, I can sleep. But the with that machine on, right, it psychologically or like it's just very uncomfortable, and then psychologically also like you start to like be a bit more conscious and stuff like that. So with that also, then I just feel a bit not used to it. But over time, you'll just be like okay lah, like just wear it and stuff like that. Yeah. It's also good for my partner because when she stays with me, then like she doesn't get to hear my snores and stuff like that lah. Yeah.
So the machine actually kind of stops you from snoring also,
yes,
because it opens up your windpipe. So it pumps air into your windpipe.
Yes.
So it must be quite uncomfortable, right? Because usually you breathe naturally.
Yeah.
Then now like air is being forced through.
Correct.
So like I don't know, do you feel like it's how does it feel?
I feel very bloated in the morning.
So you like burp a lot?
No, you will fart a lot in the morning. So yeah, that one of the downsides of using a CPAP machine is you will fart a lot in the morning. Yeah.
Because there's a stomach a lot of gas.
A lot of gas. And then because of the gas also, then I think when it comes to your breakfast and lunch, you may feel a little bit less appetite because of the amount of like air inside your body lah. Yeah. But in terms of extracting air, I mean, because it's overloaded of air also, right? Then you'll just fart quite naturally, like no control of it. Yeah.
So based on your knowledge, at least, the solution is either you get surgery or you just work with this CPAP machine for the rest of your life lah.
Yeah.
Is there any other thing that can help, like medication, oral medication, or
no? In fact, I think they did suggest like those kind of like I don't know, those portable kind of like an inhaler or something like that. But
okay.
But I mean, I wouldn't want something like that lah. Like I want something that is more like, because it's for sleeping. Like
right.
The cause of sleep apnea is during when you're sleeping. So I don't want to risk that whole like pump in the day and then hope it doesn't happen in the night, that kind of thing. So might as well just
So has sleep apnea caused any I guess issues for you on a day-to-day basis? Apart from having to wear the machine lah and farting a lot.
Actually, it doesn't. Yeah, like whether it improves my sleep or not, I think it does.
It does improve your sleep
a little bit. Like, okay, to be honest, right? Like even without the diagnosis of sleep apnea, I don't think I don't feel like I feel very tired and stuff like that. I still feel normal. Yeah, but with the machine then I just feel a bit more relief of like waking up each day and then like yes, like that kind of thing. Yeah.
But because just now you mentioned that like there are some other so-called symptoms that the doctors look out for, like you get tired during the day, obesity.
But it doesn't happen to me. Like for the tired in the day one, right? Like then I asked the doctor like food coma, all this considered. Then he like, I mean it's up to you. You make the call. And then I'm like, food coma, I don't think it's considered. Yeah, that kind of thing. So yeah. Then if I were to attribute it to if I sleep late last night, then it's just that lack of sleep lah. It doesn't mean it's sleep apnea lah. Yeah.
So what happens if say you go on a pretty long trip lah? Say you go away for like 10 days, you go holiday, then you forget to bring the machine.
Oh, can happen. Oh, forget to bring the machine back or forget to bring the machine there?
No, forget to bring the machine there.
Oh.
So you have to have 10 days without this CPAP machine and hope that none of the nights you suddenly choke yourself to death lah.
I mean, I take a very positive approach lah. Like I don't think. I mean, this is with that hope also. Like there will be some nights where I will just fall asleep. And then I end up not wearing. Yeah, then that's when my partner will come in and tell me, hey, wear your mask. Like, she'll wake up in the middle of the night. Yeah, but then like, if it's traveling there, I don't bring, then she's the one that will suffer lah. She will hear all the snores and stuff like that. And it can get quite intense because overseas, it's very tiring. You will travel and stuff like that. So yeah, it gets, the snore gets worse lah. Like for overseas.
Do you get worried? Like if you don't wear it, then like, because there is always a chance, even though you have it managed now, there's always a chance that you stop breathing like 24 times in 1 hour, man. So like that is like a couple hundred times a night lah. So you can die.
Yeah, of course.
So do you get worried? Like like if you forget to wear the mask, then like you might not wake up.
I usually have a very positive mindset in life.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so I mean there are those 1 or 2 days, the downer days where you will start to think about things. But other than that, I usually have a very positive mindset. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So essentially, you really you just do your best to work with the machine, to live with the machine, and wherever you go on holiday or whatsoever, you just gotta carry that thing around and hope for the best basically.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so essentially having sleep apnea, one of the has it, it doesn't really have a big impact in your day to day, right? Apart from having to wear at that machine and it gives you a lot of farts.
Yeah.
Have you learned anything from having sleep apnea?
Have I learned anything?
Anything that you feel like is quite helpful for you?
I think one thing I learned after, having been diagnosed with sleep apnea is I realized that there are people around who actually wear this CPAP machine or who have been diagnosed with sleep apnea as well. So, I mean, when I wasn't diagnosed with it, I wouldn't know of it.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Then once you are exposed to it already, somehow people start popping up around and then like telling, hey, actually I also was diagnosed with sleep apnea but mild and something.
So do you think sleep apnea, based on your knowledge at least, it's quite common? It's not uncommon to see people with sleep apnea?
I don't think it's uncommon. So, I mean, it's quite normal. Yeah, but I mean, one thing I would definitely advise from, my learnings from going through all this is if you haven't been diagnosed and then you have that kind of like small fear in you, like what if I sleep and pass away, that kind of thing, then just go in and get it checked. Yeah, then at least you're not wondering and like running wild with your thoughts and stuff like that. So myself, just get it checked, and then if need be, the doctor will definitely advise you whether you actually need a machine to survive.
Right.
Otherwise, if it's mild, then there's nothing to worry about. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, so I mean, you're managing it pretty well. You just have to wear your machine. Like, there's a tube that goes up your nose, or? Yeah,
so there are 2 options. One option is that typical mask that you see in a hospital, right? And then the other one that I'm using is actually like it's kind of like those kind of like earbuds that you wear, right? But it's for the nose. It looks exactly like those earbuds that you wear for the earpiece, but then it's for the nose, and then
you stuff it in.
Yeah, you stuff it in. It's like 2 rubber pieces, and then like you just wear it over your head. Yeah, so it looks very ugly Yeah, like you wouldn't want to wear it out, but I mean, I'll just do it because it's for sleeping purposes. No one else will see me.
It's for your life also
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so I've known you for quite a while, and you actually have multiple issues right? you also have like a pretty mild case of tinnitus.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So what is tinnitus?
Tinnitus is like I think it's a hearing disorder, but this is caused by an injury. So I think tinnitus can be caused by certain people could be born with it, certain people could be caused by injury, and then yada yada. But mine was caused by an injury from the army.
So what are some of the symptoms of tinnitus?
Okay, so mine is you will hear like this consistent ringing sound. In my left ear.
In your left ear.
Yeah, so mine is only the left ear. So you will hear this consistent ringing sound. So let's say if I go into like a very quiet place, wow, the sound is very upfront. Yeah, but like now I'm quite used to it already. Then that's why I can maintain and kind of like put it in the backseat and stuff like that. Yeah.
So there's always a like
even right now
sound in your left ear.
Yes, in my left ear. Yeah.
So how did you come to have tinnitus? You said that it was a physical injury
Yeah, time to pauto already. Yeah. Yeah. So I mean in the army, right? So I was in this like specialist course. I was a sergeant, right? So we had to go through this training where the 2IC and the saw gunner have to be on the knoll, right? And then the rest of the section we have to go down, and then we have to cover them. So as the 2IC, I had to wear like a headpiece and stuff like that. And then with that headpiece, I have to comms to that fella, but all I have to do is to comms. The fella just have to listen, and then he will know whether to move or not. I don't have to hear anything. I mean, maybe I need to hear, but the main part of it is I just need to command him and say, we will cover you, that kind of thing. So I didn't see a need to remove my earplug. But then my encik like which is one of my superior, right? He came behind me and then he smacked my head. And then he said, why you wear a earplug over the comm set? I mean, he does make sense. But then I was like, because the saw gunner next to me, and if we're going to cover him, it's all going to go inside my ear. And we all know saw guns
Like
is like...
I mean, for people who don't know, like saw is a semi-automatic weapon. It's very loud, right?
Freaking loud, yeah. And it's on repeat kind one. So he has to burst it. So then, I mean, you don't want to defy him lah. So I just removed my earplug. Then I was like, in my mind, I'm like, what's your lot lah? Then next thing I know, then I said, okay, we'll cover you. And then next thing I know, the moment the saw gunner starts triggering it, right? I literally heard my left ear, the sound was like, and then it just went super sharp, right? I was like closing my eye and like, wow, I felt like what's
Because the gun was very close to you also.
I mean, it's not that close to me. Like, he was like proning next to me.
Okay.
But nonetheless.
Close. Yeah, like close enough.
Yeah. So, hello. Then from then on, after that training, I told my another superior. Then he was like, oh, go get it checked at a specialist. And then that's why I got it checked. Yeah, then kind of found out through that few checks that then I got the tinnitus.
So there is no cure for this also?
Oh, this one. Apparently, there were treatments that can help to reduce it, but technically no cure. Yeah.
So again, you will hear this ringing for forever lah.
Forever.
For the rest of your life.
Yeah.
I mean, so does tinnitus affect your day to day? Because there is this, like one side got ringing, one side no ringing ma.
Yeah.
So does it when you first got it lah, which I think was quite a while ago already lah, because it was army, right?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So did it affect your day to day? Like, you know, like again, like when the doctor tell you like, hey, shit, you got this tinnitus thing, essentially you have to I guess accept that you will be hearing a ringing sound for the rest of your life.
Yep.
And you play music, right?
Yeah.
Even though it's not your full time, you play music and you have a passion, you like music lah, and like having your ears kinda destroyed a bit. I mean, surely it must not feel great lah, right?
Yeah. I mean, to be honest, right, sleep apnea was a much later thing, right? But tinnitus was technically the first like major kind of like a downside for me. So when I first heard the doctor say like, actually not much thing that we can do, right? I was devastated. No matter how positive mindset, because it's constant ringing, like it's not like a sleeping thing and then you don't even witness the thing. Yeah, but this ringing, right, it gave me headaches for like at least a good first 3 months. Yeah, then naturally like I would just kind of like try to position myself to acclimatize to the whatever sound that is around you and try to adjust your sound. I think this is like a psychological thing where you have to adjust your sound a bit so that you balance yourself so that you don't like go crazy and stuff like that. So yeah, I think it's a lot of like self-control and stuff, yeah. But thinking back to that time, no joke, man. Yeah.
Did it take you very long to kind of get used to like dealing with this ringing in your ear?
Yeah, I mean, after that 3 months, then there will be occasion where it will come quite obvious, or when I'm, trying to get to sleep, then you're not using phone and stuff like that. Wow, the sound is, the ring is extra obvious, but then maybe it's a positive mindset again. Like I'll just tell myself like, you know what, just deal with it. Yeah. If you're going to live with it for the rest of your life, there's no cure. Might as well just approach it in like a more positive manner rather than keep sulking at it every day. It's not going to go away. Yeah. So just deal with it. Yeah. Deal with it as in like make it your friend.
Learn how to live with
correct.
it.
Yeah.
Like still have a good life and whatever. So maybe do you think, because you've got diagnosed with tinnitus first, like quite many years ago, do you think that, like having more than one let's just call it illness lah. Okay, more than one illness that is like irreversible.
Yeah.
Kind of help you take the sleep apnea diagnosis better because you already right.
Yeah.
Because you already got one devastation already. So when the second devastation come, it's like nothing new here.
Yeah, you're a liar. Come away.
I mean, because unlike sleep apnea, tinnitus actually affects your day-to-day, right? Because like when you first get diagnosed, it's like, even when you cross the road, sometimes you get like kind of disoriented. You don't know what you're hearing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, so apparently it affected my motion for a bit also. Like strangely even though it's like hearing, but it does affect your motion a little bit. And then, I mean, daily conversations also, sometimes people, if they are talking on my left side, then I will be like, sorry? Like what? Yeah.
Right. Because like of the ringing sound, it just decreases your hearing ability.
Then if people go down, like if they talk, I mean, everyone talks at like different frequency, right? Then if they talk at like a certain frequency, then it just becomes like muffled a little bit. I'm like, huh? Sorry?
Because of the ringing, general ringing sound in your ear.
Yeah.
But you managed to deal with it. Like, and right now, tinnitus doesn't really bother you?
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, now that we're talking about it, like now it's quite obvious. Like, it's like, hey, like you're talking about me, you know, that kind of thing. But no, like it doesn't affect me, yeah.
So but on a day-to-day, you don't, you have adapted so well that you don't exactly even, I mean, it's been many years lah. You don't even notice the ringing sound until like you focus and you're like,
correct.
Oh, here got ringing sound.
Correct, yeah. But even if it comes up, then like I know how to suppress it lah, yeah.
But it's not a physical thing. The suppression is more of a mental.
Correct, it's a mental thing, yeah. It's not like it will slowly go down. It's more like a distract yourself or find ways. Yeah.
Right. So like mentally you have to be very adaptable and to kind of basically live with this well it's somewhat of a disability lah, right? Because it affects your hearing.
Of course. Yeah.
I mean I recall you mentioned also that that there was this one. I mean, you have a lot of physical issues lah, right? There was this once, I can't remember, maybe like the badminton shuttlecock or like a racket hit your eye and you almost go blind.
Went through a surgery lah.
Oh, so you really got problems So like what was that
I mean, so basically it's like a tennis and then it reflected off the racket and then it hit the left eye. So I had to go through A&E and then through the A&E itself, they actually had to, I mean, it doesn't look like I had an injury on the outside, but my eye was just bloodshot, like really, really bloodshot.
I can imagine,
Yeah. And then when they saw it through the X-ray, they actually found out that the bone, kind of like the, what do you call that? Like the support for your eyeball, right? At the back of the eye of the skull, that part got shattered. Yeah, so my nose was bleeding and stuff like that. So, I have to went through a surgery. Thankfully, like there was this professor that actually, like, he did a surgery on me. So, and he was very interested in my case lah. And then he did on me. And then, I mean, you look at it now, there's no scar or anything. Like, very thankful for that. But with that also, then I found out that the doctor, he was so interested in me, right? Then he was like, he there was this one checkup, then he called in like another 2 to 3 like intern doctors, all eye doctor specialists. And then he called them in, then he was like, this guy, he got ptosis. And I was like, huh? What's ptosis?
Yeah, what's ptosis?
Yeah, he was like, he got lazy eye. Yeah, and it's not like a rarity. Like some people got lazy eye, but my eye, as in my eyelid doesn't, like the muscle here doesn't function. Yeah, like as well as like normal people. So when you blink, it's your upper eyelid that's blinking, but mine is my lower eyelid.
Oh.
Yeah, that's blinking. So that one is something that I realized. So I'm using a lot more muscles here than my upper eyelid. Yeah.
Oh shit, I never knew this. So this thing is called ptosis.
Yeah, PTOSIS. Yeah, ptosis. Yeah.
So does this affect your like day-to-day hypertosis and like, okay, rather, after the tennis ball hit basically shattered your eye, and they basically kind of reconstructed.
They reconstruct
your eye lah. Did that affect your eyesight?
I went under cosmetic surgery.
Did it affect your eyesight?
It didn't. Yeah, at first like I had like double vision. But it went back to place. They had to skew my eye because the placement of the eye like a bit shift, right? So they had to skew it back to, and then they always go through the checkup and make sure that my eye vision is aligned. Yeah, so with that then I was quite relieved also.
Yeah, so quite thankful that this so-called professor managed to work on you on your eye. If not, you could have gone blind.
Oh yeah. I mean maybe not blind but
it shattered, it literally shattered your eye, right?
Yeah, but he's a craftsman. He did his job. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have issues with your eyes, your ears, and your breathing.
Yeah.
So what's next?
I don't want anything like that, to be honest.
I mean, because you have gone through. I mean, some people have some a major chronic illness, or some people deal with different things. Like some people deal with like a disc bulge, or back pain, spine scoliosis type of thing. Different people deal with different things. But for you, throughout your your life, you have had to deal with multiple diagnoses. Some of them you managed to somehow fully recover from it. Some of them you will have to live with it for the rest of your life, sleep apnea and tinnitus. Do you, a lot of people are, I mean, we live in a world where a lot of people, they fall sick and sometimes it's irreversible. A lot of times it's irreversible, and it can be quite devastating So as someone who has gone through not one, not twice, but like multiple surgeries, diagnoses, and life-threatening situations that you managed to get off, do you have any like you say, for you, like it's about trying to live life with the positive attitude and whatsoever. Do you have any, I guess, advice or tips for people who might be diagnosed with some things, and like you obviously dealt with it very well. I'm sure, especially for the tinnitus thing, it must have been quite difficult. But do you have any, I guess, like approach, mindset, or advice for people who might be dealing with a diagnosis that they haven't managed to come to terms with yet?
I think first and foremost, like, with all these little issues that came up, then it kind of opened my eyes to, how much more people out there who are struggling even more with their disabilities and stuff like that. So it really opened my eyes a lot more, and, try to understand a lot more that although whatever that I have, it's something to someone who's like perfectly fine, but there are people who had to go through a lot worse. So it really puts me in a position to be thankful for, what you... It's not like thankful for what you have, but more of like thankful for how much you have went through, and what you actually had to bring yourself out from that devastation, dark pool and stuff like that, just to put yourself in the light rather than, sink down low and stuff like that. But of course, I can't say the same for everyone. Not everyone has the same mindset as me. So with that also, I think it what really helps is like having like good friends around and stuff like that. Then you all talk together, and then you share your stories. I think another thing also is not having to be shy about what you have. Having a conversation. I always feel like conversation very important. Like when you share all these stories, right? Naturally, people will be quite receptive to it and be like, "Oh, really? I didn't know you have this, and tell me more about it," that kind of thing. Right. And then tell them about it, because it's not something that you hear every day also. And not be proud of it, but think of it as like a way to educate them, and then kind of like spread awareness. And then at the same time, then if people happen to kind of it opens them up to like, hey, maybe I should get myself checked also, right? Then actually you might help the next person, to act on it fast, rather than take the back seat and think that life will be smooth all the way. Right. So
for you, I guess it's really like, despite the diagnosis, despite some of these problems and issues that you have to deal with on a daily basis, you apart from the maintaining a positive vibe and all that, it's to appreciate like what you have also right? Yeah. Because like you say, even though like people, we go through certain tough things, diagnosis, and times there are other people that suffer a lot worse, and for you it's really to appreciate that, be thankful that you managed to learn how to deal with these things and I guess it helps for you to for you especially to approach things more positively, and not everybody has a. I mean, it's not their fault, right? That if sometimes you generally, when you get diagnosed, you just feel devastated. There's a lot of negativity in diagnosis, and not everybody has the ability, right? Like you, who I'm sure you have developed over time to kind of learn how to pull yourself out from this dark place.
Yeah.
And if someone were to be in this dark place and they just cannot find the positivity, because it's hard lah, right?
Of course.
Like what would you think? You could have done, like what if you were that person, like, because even though people can be generally positive and everything, but if you receive a very devastating diagnosis that you have to deal with forever, sometimes it's hard to see the light in the situation.
Yeah.
So for you, how do you what do you feel like was the thing that helped pull you out from your dark place, apart from your general positive demeanor?
I will also say, like, go back to what makes you happy. Yeah. Identify what are the things that make you happy. So for some people, it could be like a certain food. It could be like Japanese food. Some people, it could be like games. Things that can take your mind off it, not sweep under the rug. Take your mind off it for a little bit, and then somehow, like, kind of bring your morale up a little bit. And then when you come back to dealing with it, then you'll be like, oh shit, it's there again. Like, I'm aware of it again. Then you kind of do it on a repeat. And then when you go about your life, then you repeat this whole routine again of life where you have to work and then you go meet your friends and stuff like that. Still do everything as per normal. Then I realized that, hey, actually, then it may not bother me as much lah. Yeah, but I can't say the same for other people. But this is how I kind of like handled it lah. Yeah,
that's your process lah. Like, correct. Step by step, like routine by routine, correct. You slowly manage to kind of pull yourself out and correct. Go back to living a life lah. Because having, I guess, tinnitus or sleep apnea or whatever, what's that thing? The lazy eye thing. Ptosis. What? Ptosis.
I might be wrong. Doctors don't kill me.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the end of your life. You still have a very, very good life to live lah, where course. You can do, work on your passions, like your design career, your music, and like whatever else that you're doing, like have a great life with your friends, your partner, and all that lah. So I think that's great. Now, if there's anybody out there who happens to be listening to the podcast and they are just dealing with what you might have experienced in, like, for example, probably sleep apnea or tinnitus, okay. Can they reach out and like kind of chat with you if they're in a dark place? So where can they find you?
Where can you, I mean, on socials will be at Kenneth Geekface. I think that's about it. Or if you see me somewhere like MacPherson or Tai Seng lah.
You work around Tai Seng lah.
Yeah, somewhere around there. Yeah.
Okay, I think that was very helpful lah. Like, apart from the diagnosis, is really how you manage to overcome it. Even though, like, as with most people on this podcast, the way you talk about it is very lighthearted and because you have done your so-called dues lah, you have gone through the tough things, and right now you can talk very lightly about it, and you can joke about it, and we can have a very civil conversation about it. But like, I'm sure it must have been pretty difficult lah. So if anybody out there is struggling with what Ken might have gone through, like sleep apnea or tinnitus, feel free to kind of just reach out lah. And we are here to try to spread, I'm sure for Ken as well, we're here to try to spread more good vibes and energy into the world. Vibes. And thank you so much for spending your time with me today, Ken.
Awesome, bro.
And if you want to find Ken, I'll leave his description, his social media handle in the description. And we'll see you next time on the One Day at a Time podcast, where we take things one day at a time. Peace.